Storytelling has played a major role in the way of life. Each generation tells the stories of those before with a purpose: to educate about the ways of life, or to entertain those that read or listen. Or sometimes, to warn those with curiosity to never venture forth a path too dangerous to follow. But in this case, it is a way to explain the beginning of a new journey with a new storyteller. And his name is Yamanetto.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, good night, good overnight, or whatever time it is where you are. Welcome to the very first episode of Velez's Anecdotal Tales. I am your host, Yamanetto Velez. A pleasure to meet all of you. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what is Velez's Anecdotal Tales? Well, here's the answer to that question. It is the media version of a storybook, which is focusing on the fictional and non-fictional stories that are told here. And you are all just in time for the non-fictional story number one, Pilot Tales, which sounds pretty cliche because every shows and movies have at least a pilot episode or a pilot movie in some cases. And in my opinion, video game demos are considered a pilot if you think about it. Anyway, what's storytelling without a book? Shall we? There we go. Now, let us begin. My story, like everyone else's, begins from my younger days. My earliest memory, aside from not being born, was being carried by the doctors the day I was going home. The first person I ever saw was my mother, with her smile, walking towards me. Throughout my childhood, I have lived with happiest of memories with my closest family like any other child would. Until I learned something about myself. Despite my love to Disney movies, fantasy novels, and animated shows, there was one realistic challenge I've had that I never knew until I got older. It was discovered that I am highly functional autistic. Many doctors and school staff believed that I would not be able to succeed academically or socially as normal kids would. However, despite the many doubts I have faced, I managed to successfully graduate all the way to the end of high school on time, and during those times, I have grown to socialize as fairly as ever. Simultaneously, I began to realize my true interests: artistic storytelling. Since the end of high school, I began to develop more social skills, thus made many friends throughout the years. At one time, I was even married, until many unfortunate circumstances between me and my partner caused it to end. Even so, I never let it overcome me. Instead of giving in to my negative emotions, I took the initiative to improve myself both physically and mentally. Loyalty, individuality, spirituality, fierceness, fellowship, creativity, fertility, ascendancy, righteousness, ethical, passion, and friendship. These are the 12 traits I currently follow in my path of life, for they give me strength, motivation, and self-discipline towards personal and business goals. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my very first anecdotal tale. I will admit it was the briefest way for me to introduce a portion of my life story, and I'm not normally one to do so during the first meet and greet. But if I'm going to stick around to tell you more interesting stories, I might as well give you an idea of the kind of person that I am first. And besides, like every other good story, there is a lesson to be learned here. So here's my lesson to you. Never lose sight of your true self, no matter what anyone else says or does to tell you otherwise. Remember, as long as you remain true to yourself, you can overcome whatever obstacle that stands in your way. Well, that's enough for today, everyone. I will see you in the next Velez's Anecdotal Tale. Farewell.